So we get questions from folks, friends, people I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
Wife of a kid I used to babysit when I was in high school. And they want to know, how do you homeschool? You two, what is homeschooling?
What is homeschooling?
What is it?
Well, I would say it's creating an atmosphere of learning in your home.
Yeah.
We're all learning together. Parents, children, siblings.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's providing an education, right?
Right.
And inside your home, what do you think, Maggie?
Well, we're talking about our own personal
Yeah.
selves here, because I think I think that, as we've talked about, I think there are different ways for different people. For me, I felt like the homeschooling thing was the atmosphere of learning. It was very relational, relationship between parent-child, the relationship
Yeah.
between siblings, and really ultimately a relationship with Jesus. And taking all those thoughts captive. If we know all the thoughts that are being talked about during the day, it's easier to infuse a biblical worldview really into every discipline when you're the one that's shepherding what they're learning about.
Right.
So I think it's relationships to me is what I feel like it's shaped out to be. I don't know that that's what I would have said initially. I would have just said it's teaching them at home, literally.
Right.
I think for a young mom who might be a millennial, we had a certain stereotype that we thought of. Some of our friends our age who were homeschooled, there was an idea that it was the mom with the jumper and the kind of the maladjusted children.
So when I
Never
told
leaving
my
the
brothers
house.
that I was
Never leaving the house.
When I told my brothers I was going to homeschool, they literally said to me, and I won't say the person's name, but they were like, "You remember the so-and-sos, right?" Like,
Right.
You remember how they
totally
turned
crazy.
out.
I mean, and it was. I mean, these were fringe people.
Yeah.
Fringe.
Yes. So,
So-
I doubt that millennials
Think of homeschooling that way.
right. But either they don't think of it at all. They.
It's come a long way, though.
It has come a long way, baby. So we know what homeschooling is. We also, there's a lot of different ways to do it. What homeschooling is for us is not necessarily taking what you would do at school and reenacting that in your home. Okay, so for a lot of the people right now that were being schooled at home, right, and they're doing the curriculum that they were doing 2 weeks ago, pre-COVID, that feels like homeschooling. But if that mommy is pulling her hair out because it is so frustrating, that is not because homeschooling is not for you.
Right.
Can either of you speak to that?
I feel like that's a great point because I have heard that a lot.
Yeah.
From personal interactions with people, you see it on social media, and it is hard. And building that framework yourself of why am I doing what I'm doing, and not just taking the curriculum that you were doing in the classroom and then trying to slog through that at home.
Oh, yeah.
Those moms are not necessarily feeling like they're equipped to do that.
No.
And in some, I probably would not feel like I was equipped to do that. So I think everybody was just thrown in the deep end. And I would say homeschooling is a lot of hard work, but it's good work and it's enjoyable work, and you see the benefit of it. It's not just I'm going to check all the boxes and get these assignments done today.
And it can take a while to find your rhythm, find the right method, what works for you in your home. I don't think there's any way that I could just bring home school and do it with my children, all different ages, at the same time. I would go crazy.
The gals I've talked to, they're working long
Yeah.
days to get this work done for the schools that really continue to try to do our neighbors like that. It's a private school, and so they really feel like they want to fulfill and provide. So they're doing Zoom classes all day long, right? The difference that I see, like, what is homeschooling? My husband and I are the CEO, we're the principal, we are the janitor, we are, you wear all the hats, but you're the visionary.
Yeah.
And so you take your worldview, the values you have for your children, and, before this, we've been talking about this conversation you've been having in your family of what drives your homeschooling. and we're going to talk about that some around this table today, but there's a hub and spokes. And what is that hub? Like, what is that middle thing that drives everything else? Like, you have your hub, and then you might have literature, and you might have all these other things you do. But what is homeschooling? You pick that hub, right? Like, you and your husband based on your values. So we're going to talk about that some today. Did we cover that? What is homeschooling?
A little bit, I think.
I mean, we can come back to that.
I think it can take a while to figure out what your philosophy of homeschooling is, and
Yes, true.
talking to other moms who are doing it, reading books about it are great places to start, and trying a few things out, see what works. But I think ultimately it comes down to you love your child more than anybody else does, except for the Lord Jesus. And so you are shepherding that child's heart, you are learning alongside, you're discipling that child, and that's where you start.
Yes. You make lots of changes
Right.
and adjustments along the way.